I've changed my mind. I'm supporting the Proud Boys, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Tucker Carlson, against the chief idiot clown who agrees with whatever he just heard and thinks bombing Iran is a real estate deal. But the totally justified Israel cult's preemptive attack on Iran has been cheered on by Iranians in the high two figures, while many have fled Iran, following President Nero's instructions, as many of us dutifully do. 24 Israelis have been killed by counterattacks. The number of Iranians who have succumbed cannot be legally reported. Meanwhile, no one has been killed in Gaza except by the Israeli government defending itself against the people it conquered. I'm sure the American media can focus on both calamities at once and not be distracted from the genocide. Or my name isn't Phineas T. Trumpicide. Meanwhile, back in what's left of the United States, healthcare for trans people is banned, and over at the Veterans Administration, also for Democrats. The move to restrict services to LGB+, dropping the T and Q, which now refer to nobody, saves the American people $7.50 and brings back coal and steel jobs. Curtailing VA services to Democrats will also ensure that no Democrats go into the service, as they only went there to get services that far rightfully belong to real Americans. Mahmoud Khalil has been released from federal detention.
I just want to go back and just continue the work that I was already doing, advocating for Palestinian rights, a speech that should actually be celebrated rather than punished.
President Rumpus declared it was the deep state that was holding him, and that he will rearrest him, along with the people who cheered his release. No King's Day endeavored to defend the American people against their government, and to defend their government against some really angry people who can't see, shoot, or think straight. Shoot? Maybe. Actually, some of them are highly skilled demographic engineers, which explains why deportation of immigrants looks so uncannily like racism. President Race Hate himself, while not known for his business acumen, has been improving his record of late, making a mint from a coin that can't be minted, millions more from Bibles, watches, and guitars, and receiving a plane that isn't for him and won't be ready until he leaves office, when it will be his, sort of, assuming anyone lives that long. Speaking of race, he will rechristen army bases back to their original names, because he loves all of America, including the Confederacy. In the wake of the assassination and shootings of Minnesota Democratic Party leaders, President Trump took the time to say he won't take the time to call Governor Walz, not because he's a rebel and he'll never ever be any good, but because
I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling. Why would I call? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
Isramerica has bombed a Tehran TV station. All are agreed Tel Aviv has the right to defend itself against TV. But Democrat Party hacks are coughing up cliches like there's no military base under it and such. They really don't believe the Jewish state of every single Jew has the right to defend itself against the existence of its neighbors. Meanwhile, Pete the Hague explained that the way to make a deal is you bomb your negotiating partner, then you offer them a deal, then they take it. Back home, Israeli protesters against the Israeli government have united in support of the Israeli government, but promise to resume their opposition when everyone in the region is dead. President Grabbit, like real estate developers in general, built fortunes by timing the cycle of emotion in credit markets. If you understand that, DM me. But lucky for him, there's 70 million suckers born fairly often.
So DOGE cut back on the Department of Education.
Well done. Well done.
The EPA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's some tough cuts. Cancer research.
Cut it. Let's go back to all natural.
We don't need to be researching out cancer. We basically have that fixed anyway. Alzheimer's research.
Why not?
Why not cut the Alzheimer's research?
Yeah.
The State Department is bloated, so it is canceling all projects supporting human rights, Africa, climate, refugees, war crimes, foreign assistance, all the hallmarks of radical political ideology.
The sprawling bureaucracy created a system more beholden to radical political ideology than advancing America's core national interests.
Leaving in place primarily imperialism, aggression, hubris, and mass murder. This will streamline things nicely.
We must make the State Department great again.
A convicted felon and an indicted war criminal were playing in the garden. Felon said to war crim, "Let me take those 2 million rubble dwellers off your hands. My Jared can build a hotel there next to my casino. The Gazanoids can move to Egypt or Indonesia." War crim smiled and said, "You think outside the box." Felon said, "There's no box that can hold me. Many of me are saying only I can outfox the box." The Israeli branch of the United States has ramped up terror attacks in the West Bank, where Palestinians continue their anti-Semitic insistence on existence. It's worth noting that the charge of anti-Semitism is often an excuse to ignore anti-Palestinianism. Just saying. But it turns out, it's not so much that the U.S. is seizing Gaza, but that we bought it from Israel, paid in full, in bombs. They were contracted to do the beachfront homes prep work, cleaning out the low-income housing and low-income people. Accused of creating a second Nakba, Don the Khan mused that it's time to get beyond guilt over the past and create new guilt. Anyway, it's already under U.S. authority since it sits on the Meditamerican Sea, adjacent to America Ocean East. Also, we paid for it in kind, with our kind bombs, as we have paid for Ukrainian minerals with our missiles. Art of the deal.